the senior tsunami. As the baby boomers
increase. A T&E committee work session is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, October 10th, 2019. Persons wishing to submit additional materials for the council's consideration should do so before the close of business on October 7th so that your views can be included in the material which staff will prepare for the committee's consideration. For this item, we have one speaker, Mr. Gordy Bren.
Gordy Brenny with the Taxpayers League. This afternoon, I'd like to show you how you can overcome weak governance and management of WSSC. I hope my testimony will help you break the cycle of above-market increases. Approving a smaller rate increase will incentivize management to establish better cost controls. High operating and capital budget cost trends have led to forecasts of 8% rate increases as far as the eye can see, following the proposed above-market 5% next year. These trends are a symptom of WSSC's impending insolvency, which will require a taxpayer bailout, at which point we'll insist the state split the system in two. Management's response to the lack of cost controls over the last decade has been to ratchet down needed pipe and large valve replacement and defer consent decree work. At the same time, management's increased cost with above market pay raises, has approved totally discretionary capital projects that don't pay for themselves, and continued to operate costly sewage treatment plants that don't have Blue Plains economies of scale. The question we ask all of you are, is it prudent that management gets pay raises whenever rates have to be increased because management failed to control costs? How do we explain to the average resident why the average employee in this monopoly makes more than they do? Why should Montgomery County ratepayers, who we estimate are responsible for only 36% of sewage treatment costs, pay the same rates as Prince George's County ratepayers? And how can you lower the risks of service interruptions and insolvency as the backlog of deferred maintenance and replacement capital projects hits underwriting limits and recession warning lights are blinking red? Last week I sat at this very table, at that seat, and I spoke to you about capital limits the county faces given a 10% underwriting standard for debt service. Well, WSSC has a 40% underwriting standard and still can't meet it without an 8% rate increase. Why? Most projects approved by WSSC have a rate of return that's either negative or below WSSC's cost of capital. Two totally discretionary projects we oppose, smart meters and Piscataway upgrades, will cost more than $500 million to build and do not reduce costs or increase revenues to cover the cost of capital. This drives rates higher. Spending more than you can get back is a prescription for bankruptcy in any business. One dramatic illustration of cost mismanagement is how WSSC processes sewage, its most capital-intensive and expensive operation. Currently, only 65% of sewage is treated by Blue Plains. The Piscataway plant and its pumping stations are responsible for chronic spills. The latest, a month ago on August 9th, spilled 5.2 million gallons of sewage into the Potomac watershed overnight, undoing years of stormwater abatement and costs that the taxpayers, hundreds of millions of dollars that we've spent on stormwater abatement.
Thank you, Mr. Brenny. We will consider the rest of your written testimony. Thank you. All right, there are no lights and no more speakers, so this public hearing is closed. Item number 6. This is a public hearing on a supplemental appropriation to the county government's FY20 operating budget, Department of Transportation, in the amount of $98,150 for streets and roads, roadside trees protection. Action is scheduled immediately following this hearing. There are no speakers on my list for this hearing. Sure, 3 minutes. We will allow speaker.
Your microphone's on.
trying to get closer to the microphone. Thank you.
It's on. You're on.
Do I press something here?
You're fine. You can talk into the microphone. It's on.
Okay. Hi, my name is Judy Koenig. I'm here regarding the issue of trees and park on roads. My suggestion is that you look at the condition of trees throughout the county before you start planting any more trees. Over 6 weeks ago, I met with a Park and Planning Commission commissioner and had a tour of the area south of East West Highway on Beach Drive of the dozens and dozens of trees that are dying or are dead, as well as thousands of trees that are overgrown with vines on park property. She then talked to the director of parks, Mike Riley, who said, we'll take care of it. How can I politely say he hasn't done anything? They are still being choked by the vines. And if you're going to put more trees someplace, you need to be able first take care of the trees that we have. And if any of you wants to, if you're finished today, I will be at Beach Drive and East West Highway in the first parking lot there at 4:30 today if anyone wants a tour. It will take 10-15 minutes to see what is being done, and if you're going to come up money with more trees, you have to have an effective way to protect them, and you do not, because Mike Riley is a lazy, and I won't go the rest of the words on that. And he told Miss Patterson that he would take care of it, and he hasn't done anything. And I have somewhere around here a picture of a tree, but I'm going to have to, wait a minute. I didn't know there was any bones left in my foot that I could break, and we found one a couple weeks ago. So I invite you all, if not now at 4:30, tell me when, and I will give you a tour of how despicable the conditions are down there. If you're going to put money in trees, you have to have a plan to protect the ones we have, and the first thing you do is you fire Mike Riley and give me 2 crews from Park and Planning Commission, and you will see a significant improvement in one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Koenig.
Anyone want to meet
There are
me?
no other speakers for this public hearing, so the public hearing is closed. So I need a motion for this item.
I have to share my
Councilmember Katz.
shirt with
Need
you.
a second? Second by Councilmember Jawando. Mr. Orland, anything you want to add? Are these
One
specific
of the
funds
first ones I
already,
did.
are they designated for a particular area?
These are for street trees and road rights of way, so it would not apply to parks. This is only for DOT street trees.
Are there any particular plans to replace the trees that have been cut on Wayne Avenue because of the Purple Line construction?
I don't know. I'd have to find out. But
Yes? No? Yes. There are plans for that?
there are plans for that.
Okay, thank you. We have received a lot of feedback about those particular trees and how, sad it has been to see them come down because they're very large and very ancient trees. And so I hope that we're able to do something to address that issue. Okay, I don't see any other lights. So all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous among those present. Thank you. And with that, we are adjourned. Gracias.